The galaxy had always been crowded with voices. Thousands of civilizations, each with their own languages, ambitions, and grudges, filled the void with chatter and conflict. Ships raced between star systems, empires plotted, and alliances formed, and shattered in the blink of a light year. Among all these voices, humanity was almost invisible. A young species from a small blue planet, barely a century beyond its own star's neighborhood, and yet brimming with something the galaxy could not yet measure: determination. Earth had sent many envoys before, but none like this one. Ambassador Kale Roran stood on the polished floor of the Intergalactic Council's central chamber, a place where history was made, or erased. The chamber itself seemed impossibly vast, a cathedral of metal and light stretching higher than even the tallest ships of the Androsian fleets. Species of every shape and color, some more metal than flesh, some more energy than matter, filled the seats. Kale could feel their curiosity, their doubts, and their silent scoffs at the presence of a human among them. Kale's mind was calm, though his pulse raced. He had trained his entire life for this moment, not as a soldier or a scientist, but as a diplomat, the voice of all humanity. The fate of Earth, of humanity's standing in the galaxy, rested on the words he would choose. The chamber fell silent as the presiding elder, a being of shifting crystalline facets, addressed the assembly. "Ambassador Roran," it said, its voice echoing like 1,000 chimes. "You may speak. Convince us that your species deserves a place among the stars." Kyle took a deep breath. "Esteemed members of the council," he began, his voice firm but respectful, carrying through the vast hall. "We come from a small world, a world you might call insignificant. Our history is short, our technology still young, and yet we understand something that even the oldest of you sometimes forget: the power of choice, and the responsibility that comes with it." He paused, letting the words settle. Eyes, both organic and artificial, seemed to turn toward him, with genuine interest. "For eons, your civilizations have waged wars, built empires, and claimed dominion over weaker species. You have measured power in fleets and planets and stars conquered. But power without wisdom is hollow. Influence without empathy is destructive. Humanity has known weakness, has known suffering. We have fallen and risen countless times, and through it all we have learned something crucial. Survival is not enough. We must choose to protect, to uplift, and to act with honor, even when no one is watching." A murmur spread through the chamber. Some species tilted their heads as if this simple, almost childlike truth unsettled them. Kale continued, his voice growing stronger with each word. "We do not claim to be perfect. We have made mistakes and we will make more. But unlike many in this galaxy, we understand the value of cooperation and dialogue. When we speak, it is not to dominate or deceive. It is to seek understanding and to find solutions where others see only conflict. We believe that even in a universe of infinite stars, the choices of one species can make a difference, not just for themselves, but for all who share the cosmos." The council was quiet now. Even the stars outside the chamber's vast viewing windows seemed to shine brighter, as though the galaxy itself had paused to listen. Then came the challenge. From the far end of the chamber, a massive warlord, a species known as the Gracht, whose fleets had once devastated 6 star systems, rose to speak. Its voice was a rumble that made the floor tremble. "Your words are pretty, human," it said. "But words cannot save you if we decide you are a threat. What proof have you that humanity is anything more than clever prey?" Kale met the Gracht's gaze without fear. "Proof is in action, not words," he replied calmly. "And humanity is ready to show that proof. We will not rely on threats, intimidation, or force to survive. But if we must defend ourselves, we will do so with precision, strategy, and unwavering resolve. We do not start wars, but we do not shrink from them. We act decisively because hesitation can cost entire civilizations their lives." The chamber held its breath. The Gracht's armored face twisted in something like confusion, or perhaps it was a first spark of respect. Kyle leaned forward slightly, lowering his voice just enough that it carried like a beacon through the hall. "And there is another truth," he said softly, but firmly. "Even the smallest species can shine brighter than any star if it has courage, intelligence, and unity. Humanity has endured floods, fires, wars, and famine. We have survived extinction attempts, plagues, and our own follies. Yet here we stand, not broken but stronger, wiser, and ready to play our part in this galaxy. We do not ask to be feared, we ask only to be understood. And when humanity speaks, we hope, even in the face of centuries of doubt, that you will listen." A silence unlike any other enveloped the chamber. No whispers, no rustling, no shuffling. Just Kale's voice and the distant hum of stars. Then, one by one, representatives of the council nodded. Some slowly, some with cautious acknowledgement, but all with a sense that something extraordinary had happened. The Elder of Crystal stepped forward once more. "Ambassador Roran, your words have reached even those of us who have long thought ourselves unshakable. We hear you. Humanity will have its seat, not because of fear, not because of power, but because it has shown it can rise above the petty and the cruel. You have our attention, and with it, our consideration." A wave of relief and awe swept through Kale. His mission, years in the making, had succeeded. Humanity had not just earned a voice, it had claimed a presence that the galaxy could no longer ignore. But the moment was not just political. As Kale looked out the chamber's windows at the swirling cosmos, he felt something deeper. In that instant, it was as if the stars themselves had leaned closer to listen, twinkling with approval, as if the universe recognized a species willing to act with courage, compassion, and honor. Kale returned to Earth a hero, but he never saw himself as one. He was merely a human who spoke truth to a galaxy that had long forgotten it. Humanity's story, he knew, was just beginning. The Council would watch them, the empires would test them, and the stars would continue to shine. But humanity had learned a lesson older than time itself. Sometimes the smallest voice carries the greatest power, and when that voice is true, even the universe listens. In the following decades, Earth's diplomats, scientists, and explorers traveled farther than any had imagined. Human fleets and research missions saved worlds from plagues, famine, and war. Human negotiators stopped conflicts that seemed destined to consume entire sectors. And every time a human spoke, whether in council chambers or over comlinks spanning light years, there was a subtle change in the cosmos, a quiet pause, a recognition that something extraordinary had emerged from a blue world circling an ordinary star. And Kale Roran, who had first spoken that truth, would often look up at the night sky and smile, knowing that when humanity's diplomat spoke, even the stars seemed to listen.